「 hello. Yeah, does it work now? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new edition here at J-Core Live, one and only
J-Core
talk show here on Twitch. Yes, today is the 18th of November, and we are having a showcase of RoughSketch with Lost Neverland. It's a new release that has been released 3 weeks ago at M3, and yeah, this show is also made possible by Notebook Records themselves. So a huge shout out to RoughSketch and Notebook Records for providing this amazing chance that we can showcase this new album. So yeah, as a longtime fan of RoughSketch, I'm always really excited to hear what the album will bring us this time. So yeah, really excited to hear what is going to be up for today. So yes, first off, let's start off by thanking Jesco. Thank you very much for the 55-month subscription. Holy shit! Yes. And also Frozen Pyramid. Thank you very much. Let's see now. Wait. Oh, what did I see? I see something wrong. Okay, wait. Give me a sec. There's seriously something wrong with my computer nowadays. No idea what. But yeah, it's a long time Frozen Pyramid, so welcome. So I will say, let's start with the show. And by starting the show, we are doing a quick shout out to all the active chatters in here. Which the thing doesn't work. Jimmy. So okay, let's do it on the old school way. Let's do a quick shout out to Frozen Pyramid. I'm the Banana. Also, thank you very much to all Sonic Foon, Def Minion 909. Have fun with doing your groceries. Rave Wisp. Let's see, who else do we have? Jesco, of course, and Law. And Sonic Foon as well. Let's see. Oh, okay, now it works. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have definitely some things to talk about. There's some things that I do want to show. And also, there is an... Wait, I'll talk about that later. Let's start with the intro.
J-Core.
So you hear some stutterings? Like, I have no idea if they are stutterings or if it's from my side or not. Let's see. Yeah. Well, the internet connection is pretty decent today, so I have absolutely no idea. So if I'm stuttering, please let me know, and then we can see what is up or what is happening. So yeah, RoughSketch Lost Neverland. This is a showcase that we are going to do today. Yeah, really excited to hear what's in store for us. You can get this album, of course, at Bandcamp. And the CD you can get at Diverse Direct. Once again, thanks to a Banana. So, as I just mentioned before, there's a couple of things I want to show, want to talk about. And one of the things that I do want to talk about is there is a new video out, which is the... what's it called again? A brief history of early J-Core and historiographic legacy of Sharpno and Double Dutch. So it is a 1 hour and 17-minute video. We will check the video because I am really excited to hear the take of this person. And at the same time, we can also do like some kind of reaction and let's see how the view is from there. And of course, not to forget, we are going to listen to this album. So yeah, let's start with the first album, because there are going to be 14 tracks on this release. Also, by the way, I think the CD version will have more tracks. Let me see. No, there are 14 tracks on the CD. Okay, how about the Bandcamp? Is on the Bandcamp 14 tracks as well? Ah, okay. So everybody, you're in luck. The Bandcamp version has 10 tracks, and today we are going to do the CD version. So let me adjust the title. CD version. CD. There we go. So you are in luck. I would say let's start with the first track, and that's going to be Lost Neverland featuring Didi Nakata Metal.
My head out. Do not write judgment. Got no way out. It should be conducted in torment. We will never run. You raise my repton. You made me demand. And run always run. We will never run. And feel the command. It was fate to disband. Anymore I can stand. We will never run. ever run.
So this was the first track, which is Lost Neverland featuring Didi Nakata Metal. So hearing this track is definitely something that RoughSketch would do, and definitely something that RoughSketch would make. It also brings me back to those great RoughSketch years with those amazing kicks. So yeah, if this is already like the first track, then I am really excited to hear what's on next. Also, with the how you call it, the small stream hiccups, I don't see anything much happening on my side, but it is possible that Caster is messing up a little bit. I probably still need to find the best settings for that. Maybe even try another country. Because it's now set to Frankfurt. Maybe I need to set to another country. Maybe then the buffering will be a little bit better. Oh, wait. Frozen Period. You don't have any problems there, so it runs smoothly. Because it's probably on Germany. So, yeah, it's sending it to a German server. So, that is probably the why nothing is happening. So, yeah, for the next show, probably for tomorrow, I'll try another country. Let's see what happens. Maybe it get better, maybe not. So yeah, since we are here anyway, how has everybody been doing today so far? Not only today, like the last week, since we haven't seen each other for a week. Oh yeah, sorry. Power to all. Have a great session at archery if you're still here, and otherwise you're gone. Yeah, power to all is doing archery. So yeah, stay. If you want to talk a little bit about what happened last week, please post your comments in the Twitch, or you can briefly talk a little bit about it. Banana shouldn't go through Twitch servers after Caster anyway. So the thing with Caster, it works like I am sending one stream link to Caster, and the server from Caster is in Frankfurt, and from that server it relays to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. But the thing is, I cannot choose Amsterdam because there is no Amsterdam. As far as I can remember, there's one in Germany, one in the UK, one in France, one in Spain. And I think even one in Sweden. So I took the one that is closest to our location. But maybe France is better. So I really have no idea. We really need to just, check it out. Maybe the internet of Sweden is better. No idea. So yeah, I cannot change it now anyways because we're already live. So yeah, as for my week, I have been working a little bit on some stuff. Mainly also been working a little bit on my Anikura Unison set for the end of the year. So there are two things that is lingering in my mind. What should I do? So the thing is, I got a confirmation from Anikura Unison that we from NDXJCL are allowed to do whatever we want. So we are not bound and limited to the Anikura and Anison type of music, which I am really happy with, because NDXJCL is not the type of organization that embraces anisons in general, but we do accept it. We are more of an organization that we do whatever we want, and even though that probably our main music style is J-Core, we are not limited to it. So with that confirmation, the first plan what I did was just to do a set which is completely different than what practically everybody else is doing. And I did a test run. When was this? Saturday, I think. Wait, Lief, wanneer was jij nou weg? Zaterdag, toch? Ja? Je was er ergens heen? No, then it was not Saturday. It was that was another day. So I did a test run and I was kind of happy with it, because I would place myself under NDXJCL and not under Decima Sounds. So I was happy with it. And then suddenly I came to a thought about, yeah, but what if I would play with videos? And if I would play with videos and and lately I am also pretty addicted to a K-pop track from aespa, which has been pretty much on non-stop this week and last week. So I am slowly shifting back to Decima Sounds and do something more in line what Decima Sounds would do than what NDXJCL would do. So maybe I'm placing myself back. So, and other than that, I've been working a little bit on streaming stuff and editing videos, of course, especially for the Anikura Unison. So in a way of line, I am slowly picking up my streaming projects, so which is a good thing. So yeah, that is pretty much my week. Yesterday went for sushi dinner. Today I started working, instead of 4 hours for 3 days, I now work for 5.5 hours for 3 days for 2 weeks. So let's see how it goes. Let's see. Frozen Pyramid finally have internet after 1.5 months. It's good to be back online. Amazing, Frozen Pyramid. I know how it felt to have no internet for quite some time. If you might remember my situation back then, it was like a half a year without proper internet. The only internet what I had was streaming from my phone, which worked on a certain level. And I think that even the The internet from my telephone, it's even more stable and faster than the crappy internet that we have now. Oh man, that's really bad. So yeah, but good to hear that you're back online again. So hopefully see you more often. Let's see, Sonic Foon just got bonked by Discord for 2 weeks of free Discord Nitro. It just boosted to NDXJCL and Roundwave Crush's server. In case today some crazy shit happened, as Mobile Legends Bank nominated as best esport games, and Usada Pecora nominated as best streamer at TGA 2024. Oh, how about Final Fantasy VII Remake? Is that already Game of the Year? Banana did a live stream last week for the first time in quite a while. That was great fun. Yeah, Banana, you really did a great job with the vinyl records. You are getting way better with it. Coles Bar, Saturdays is one of the 7 days, sir. Yeah, I know. The rest of the days were not really that interesting. Other days include Tuesday, Sunday, and Wednesday. No shit. Thank you, Coles Bar. Deaf Minion week was decent. Booked his next trip to India, which was cost me 3k. Asshole KOM. Jesus, that's quite a lot. Well, you are traveling in high season though. Other than that, been able to bolt his record, a cupboard to the wall. Yeah, I've seen the video. At least I saw the video. Also, I'm inching closer and getting a full and complete DJ setup. Looking for new studio monitors now. Well, Dev Minion, you still can take my advice with studio monitors. Frozen Pyramid, it's actually pretty hard. Yeah, I know how hard it is not having internet. So, while we're not having internet, my phone was the only one available tethering. So my phone tethered my computer, it tethered Kim's internet, it tethered my own internet. So thank God my work has unlimited internet subscription, so lucky for that. Geen idee. Oké, met wat? Let's see. Banana. Oh yeah, went on a nice long walk this morning. Walked like 8 kilometers around town and nearby nature in about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Oh, nice job. Oh, good to hear that you had a good walk. 1 hour and 15 minutes. I think I walked slower than that. But then again, Banana's legs are like... it's, I think, my head length. Longer. Let's see. Deaf Minion, I am waiting for the deals to...
は戦場的現状曰くつき安直な成長意外にも幸いなあんたが中央か私泣いて抱いて裁判したエミのティッシュでしょうだ私はいないんだし会えない洗いない最後まで臭いない So 1, 2, 3, 4全部投げ出してフライフライあみんな楽しいかましい一人よがり厄介その環境を取り込んだ現実は暗い暗い近い未来で暴いてやるわその生涯子供も大人も 騒いでればいいじゃない
Amazing. It's been a long time ago that we heard a faster track by RoughSketch. So this was, let's see, what did Banana said? The Peter Pan Syndrome featuring Kitakoji Yusi. I'll say, let's go over to the next track, which is gonna be Time Limit.
That'll wake see how many times I hit. Up.
It is time. It is time.
That'll wake him up.
And if you want to make it hot, we make it rough.
You ought to see how many times I hit.
It is time.
wake him up.
So the last track that you heard was RoughSketch with a time limit. And also, yeah, we have a new ad. At least it's it's not our ad, but yeah, 7 and 8 of March, Neodash Party is organizing their biggest mainline event, which is Prismatic Overdrive, where RoughSketch will also be there present together with who was it? T-Pazalite, also a legend, Lauer, Graham, DJ Laugh will be there as well. There's also somebody from our community, of 2 people from our community, Neka and Tactheist, who are playing there together with pages from my grimoire, I think. Dystopia something. No More Hero is there. Rave Club, and yours truly, I will be playing there as well. Which I did not expect to be invited for this, and 2, when I got invited for this, I only knew that RoughSketch would be playing. But seeing all those bigger names out there, that was just like, I'm getting a bit nervous. So yeah, tickets are available at where was Tikiti, I think, somewhere in Finland. But yeah, it's a 2-day party. I'll be on the Friday, and the Saturday is for the mainline artist. So yeah, yeah, Banana, thank you, Tikiti.fi. So there is a small possibility, maybe, that I'll be performing Nihongo Hard Bass live. A small possibility. Let's see if RoughSketch is up for it. So yeah, oh yeah, talk about ads. So yeah, due to a popular demand, 16 and 17 of May, we are coming back to Arnhem with Unmuted. So yeah, it is only a teaser because when was this? Like literally 10 hours ago, I decided to carry on with the dates. The dates were already planned for a month now, and I've been waiting for the answer, which most people voted for a 2-day party. So yeah, we are doing a 2-day party. So mark your calendars. It's gonna be the 16th and 17th of June. No, sorry, May. Not June, May. The lineup will be out probably during my birthday, because on the 1st of March I am organizing my birthday party, but I'm not sure if I'm still doing it on a real life location or we are going to do in this house. I don't know. The thing is, if I do it in another party, it would cost me 450 euros just to get the location. So I don't know. Or we can do like a private party here, invite maybe 30 people and just party over here. So yeah. What?
30 people.
Why are you throwing shit at my head? Jesus. Yeah, Banana repeat New Year's last year. But it's not New Year, it's my birthday. Hey, it's not only my birthday, it's also my 20-year DJ-versary. Start off. Domestic abuse, yeah.
Indeed, you got it in camera.
Yeah, so they are calling the police to arrest you, not me.
Yep. Please arrest me on his birthday. Give me a room. Thank you. Good food. Thank you.
I don't think they have good food over there. They only have dry bread and water. Oh, Hungry Resub is saying, I think what Kim wants to say is 40 people would be better.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, technically spoken, if 40 people would come and they will pay admission, then we can do a real life party. But I don't expect 40 people to come to my party, to my birthday party. So yeah, so I am also debating on the 1st of March we are going to do a real life party. And then on the 2nd of March is going to be the streaming part. So the people playing on the Saturday won't be featured on the Sunday. So I need to see how we are going to do this. So yeah, some amazing information for you all. So 16, 17 May, keep the date open. So what I also wanted to do is that today on Discord, Megacurse posted a video about a brief history of early J-Core plus historiographic legacy of Sharpno and Double Dutch, which is 1 hour and 17 minutes. I'm not sure if we are going to play the whole video now, but I want to definitely check out the half of it today and probably also talk a little bit about it, and maybe next week the other half. So yeah, I would say let's listen to some segments and some music on the on the other side. Banana, make sure you're still alive that day. Defminion, 1st of March. Or do you mean the first day of the party? No, literally the 1st of March. My actual birthday is on the 1st of March, so that is also one of the reasons why I want to do a party. And unmute, and the second day is going to be the 2nd of March, which is an online party. So I won't be there at the online party. I will organize it. I will host it. And Unmuted is 2 months after. So yeah, I would say let's go check the video, because yeah, I really want to see how everything is and how accurate this information is.
Hardcore, more commonly referred to as J-Core, is a variation on the hardcore techno music genre widely theorized to have emerged during the mid-1990s. The genre is often defined by a combination of fast-paced melodies, overt visual and musical styles taking cues from contemporary otaku subculture, and heavy sampling from other closely related mediums like anime, video games, and general Japanese pop/meme culture. Additionally, many J-Core works are self-published like other mediums under the doujin subculture, with labels under the umbrella often sharing spaces at major conventions like Comic-Con. These elements are believed to have shaped perceptions of the genre as a fleeting and underground scene, partially due to early otaku culture skirting a very fine line with the use of copyrighted and unlicensed material. While the genre initially garnered inspiration from hardcore techno, gabber, and later happy hardcore following the turn of the millennium.
Hey, don't call it gabber. No, it's not gabber. We call it hardcore. Oh, man. Don't call gabber a music style. It's not a goddamn music style. Yes, I'm really offended by this.
Early works under the J-Core umbrella share many elements with nerdcore techno, another underground genre characterized by the heavy use of samples from other similar sources. It can be argued that this overlap in musical style was a catalyst for the ambiguity of J-Core as a definition, as many self-published works, broadly ranging from jungle to speedcore, were often lumped into the J-Core genre with little distinction within the greater doujin music sphere. A variety of composers within the video game industry, like sampling masters Mega and LED, are often cited as inspirations for a number of J-Core artists and the overall hardcore techno sound cultivated by the genre, which further blurs many early distinctions. On the other hand, it can also be argued that J-Core is a spiritual successor to the foundations that nerdcore techno established, namely the recognition of otaku culture through the parodies and sampling of popular contemporary works.
No, this is definitely not true. It's not a successor. So the original term for J-Core is more like back in 2000 and what was it, 2003 or 2004? No, 2003. It was already called nerdcore, but it's not something that that we could sell nerdcore to the Western audience. It's more like nerds weren't really the most coolest people back then, and by calling it nerdcore, nobody would listen to it. So by keeping it vague, like using the term J-Core as Japanese hardcore, makes a little bit more sense. At least this is how it originally should be.
Many music databases like Discogs will clump releases from the late 90s into both categories interchangeably, suggesting a continuity that has since branched into two distinct forms of music over the last 25 years. The term J-Core is itself a relative misnomer, as many producers surrounding the doujin scene see no particular distinction regarding hardcore music produced in Japan. DJ Shimamura, an established hardcore producer and DJ, often described as a pioneer of J-Core sounds, argues that he does not have the consciousness of making J-Core when producing music. He suggests that his perspective is probably the same for many Japanese artists, as the term encompasses multiple varying sounds with no uniform direction in mind to codify them, likening the expression to baggage exported from Japan overseas.
Okay, that was legit.
Theory is supported by the titles of many doujin music tracks uploaded to YouTube during the site's early years, regardless of any correlation between two different compositions. A song could have its genres correctly labelled in the video description, but will invariably be listed as J-Core, despite having little in common with releases from the early 2000s. Regardless of the term's overall accuracy, J-Core has served a critical purpose in highlighting the influences and trends that inspire underground Japanese electronic artists to produce tracks much different from their contemporaries across the pond. Nonetheless, this is yet to address a key question. What are the origins of J-Core, and how did it develop throughout the early 2000s? Many articles and artists alike list DJ Sharpnel as the origin point for J-Core, being one of the first artists to release music that would later define an early understanding of the genre. He was partly inspired by his experience for music fans that was soon validated by the cultural influences of Konami's Beatmania franchise. Within a few years, the advances of a rapidly developing internet led to a rise in various collectives producing their own spin on underground music genres. To many rhythm game players, Hardcore Tanoshi stands out as the oldest and most established example behind this new era of niche self-published hardcore music. Many of the artists who contributed to these groups would sometimes form smaller subunits, often dedicated to harder variants of hardcore music, or to pursue another genre they seldom explored before. It's very rare for doujin producers / composers not to contribute at least one track towards a compilation album during their activity, as it could be argued that this collaborative practice is what founded J-Core's diverse range of sounds during its formative years.
So with Hardcore Tanashi, this is also definitely legit, because even back in the day in the past, Hardcore Tanashi was definitely already on the J-Core charts, and it usually also houses the bigger named artist, which isn't really always directly towards like Sharpnel. And that made that kind of tracks, but it was earlier more inspired towards Toho, and after that, those artists that were in Tanashi, they started doing other kinds of music, and as Tanashi was for back in the day, pretty much the biggest label out there already, they already had a lot of fans, so they could actually do whatever the fuck they wanted.
A number of these unique takes on hardcore and gabba styles would inspire new artists to experiment with lesser explored genres, leading to a melting pot of ideas that would create new breakthroughs rarely found elsewhere. Furthermore, the proliferation of rhythm games meant that hardcore techno and J-Core music rapidly found an audience within and outside Japan, leading to an explosion of overseas influences that would only continue to grow as rhythm games became more popular and accessible to more people. Like many facets of otaku culture that would later gather wider internet recognition during the 2000s.
So with the hardcore thing, that is also true, because when I started doing the J-Core stuff as a DJ here in the Netherlands, not many people knew of its existence. Like, I can probably count like with two hands. Those are the people that actually know what at least ever heard of J-Core. But with 2DX, back then Beatmania, you had Terranoid, LEDG, and that also with Stepmania back then. Those people that actually played those games, they heard of the Japanese hardcore.
Hardcore Tanoshi saw its humble beginnings in the depths of image board culture, more specifically the DTM board on 2channel, all the way back in June of 2003. The circle would then release its first compilation album, titled Kimaila 8K, no less than 3-4 months later.
Oh, really expensive CD. Back in the day, this CD was like already 50-60 euros.
J-Core music was already being shared through Japanese peer-to-peer networks during this time, but the success of Kimala 8K and contemporary releases like Sharpnell's aptly named P2P establishes the idea that J-Core was one of the very first music genres to be heavily shaped by the internet in some form, long before the establishment of other internet genres like vaporwave and hyperpop. Additionally, there is evidence to suggest that J-Core had managed to find its way outside of Japan before the advent of public video hosting sites like YouTube, as publications on DJ Sharpnell were featured in publications such as the Dutch J-Culture fanzine Anyway as far back as—
Hey! Okay, so this is the article that I saw. And this is also the article that made me fall in love with J-Core, because a friend of mine, he showed me this article, also a hardcore head, and he had this magazine, and he told me about it. So the author of this article is Boris Posma. At the very first J-Core Live show, I also interviewed him, and we were talking about my influence of the J-Core, or at least the Japanese hardcore. It's because I have read this article of his.
2002. One such Anyway article written by Boris Postma first attempted to coin otaku speed rave as a name for this new variant of Japanese hardcore, named after the event where this music was widely heard, but the term ultimately wasn't adopted. Many artists from across Japan offered contributions to hardcore Tanoshi compilations throughout the early mid-2000s, with emerging producers such as M Project and MIDI featured alongside newcomers that later became synonymous with J-Core, like Tapazalite and the Circle's founder, Red Alice, then known as Akai Hito. Not only did this provide an outlet for many doujin artists to reach wider audiences, it also provided J-Core with more opportunities to spread beyond conventional underground avenues by directly connecting with like-minded producers and listeners who were interested in these new sounds. This would lead to J-Core collectives forming their own events and parties centered around the genre, which held an additional benefit of letting fellow producers network among one another. For example, the Tanoshi crew would host release parties a few weeks after publishing new compilations, which featured special guests who would later contribute works to subsequent albums, such as DJ Shimomura. Additionally, developments in online infrastructure like live streaming allowed J-Core groups to further spread their reach without the need to rent venues ahead of time, an opportunity that many artists would increasingly take advantage of as the technology improved throughout the next decade. On the other hand, this approach often had a similar effect in the opposite direction. J-Core producers like Betwixt and Between would regularly feature at events focused on other genres like freeform hardcore, using their platform to promote their work through initiatives like the freeform-orientated Energetic Romancer. There was a symbiotic relationship between the J-Core landscape and other underground music scenes through events hosted in person and online, as they fostered environments to share less popular styles of music with people who otherwise had few sources to these genres at the time. One side effect of encouraging a cultural exchange between music communities in this manner was the crossover facilitated between various spheres of otaku subcultures, as producers and illustrators from a variety of backgrounds would almost inevitably offer something towards J-Core. Blasterhead, a producer better known for his work on a number of cult classic visual novels produced by Kero Q, had one of his first credits under the alias in a track to the 2002 Sharpnell release Cross-Rated.
Select your battleship.
Hi, Cambracher. Welcome.
Blasterhead was no stranger to the J-Core scene, having previously encountered Sharpnell at a Gamers Night event in the late 90s, then later paving the way for professional illustrators.
Okay. I'm amazed that this person found this video, because this video is even I have this one. I ripped it off Sharpnell's website back then. So Cambracher, we are watching a brief history of early J-Core and historiographic legacy of DJ Sharpnell and Double Dutch. So this video caught my attention this morning as Megacurse was posting it. And yeah, just trying to check out how reliable the source is. And I must say, we are only 2 chapters in, and so far it is pretty legit.
Like Itaru Hinue, to create J-Core CD jackets instead of using characters from other properties without permission. He would continue to dabble in visual novel compositions throughout the decade, while also regularly producing standalone hardcore techno and chiptune releases on the side. Blasterhead still occasionally contributed to the wider doujin sphere for a number of collaborations in the 2000s, eventually collaborating with then Tanoshi regulars Red Alice and DJ Technotch on the creatively named Blasterhead vs Hardcore Tanoshi. This coincided with the period where
So I'm not I'm not sure if I was subscribed or somebody else was subscribed.
Blasterhead became a unit again with the inclusion of Taishi, an artist now best known for his numerous contributions to influential doujin labels like Diverse System and Waveform. In a similar vein, fellow visual novel arranger and Makino newcomer DJ Technetium would become a regular to the doujin music circuit in his own right, regularly featuring in Tanoshi compilations from the group's inception until the end of the decade, while consistently releasing his own catalogue under his Sis Trance label. One of his most notable early releases.
Thank you, Glitchy, for the 52-month subscription. Yay! Also, welcome to J-Core Talk show here on Twitch. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
This was Technetium vs Raveros, the Game Addicts, a 2004 collaboration with fellow Tanoshi unit Raveros. This album showcases the heavy anime and video game inspirations that J-Core is typically known for, while also providing a subtle example of the musical talent that doujin producers were able to cultivate in a field with virtually no creative restrictions. Technetium could lean into darker elements of hardcore techno to create a deeper punch to his choice of kicks, while the Raveros duo of Betwixt and Between and DJ Hase could seamlessly pick and mix their respective styles for an esoteric selection of music.
So wait, let's see, when was this video released? It is literally released 1 day ago. Final Fantasy. Raveros is Betwixt and Between, and who was it again? And there's also somebody else. That is Raveros. Oh, Karen. If you look at the in the lounge, and you scroll up, then you can find. Yeah, you can find it.
Collaborations like these demonstrated the range of talents under the Tanoshi umbrella, as it demonstrated that there was a place for varieties of melodic hardcore to work together and capture an otaku audience not solely focused on anime and gaming culture. It can also be argued that J-Core artists were able to use these learning opportunities to innovate outside of the scene just as much as they did within. Buzzmaster was one such artist who demonstrated this, acting as an equal tour de force in both the J-Core and wider hardcore scenes across Japan during his tenure. He first featured in compilations hosted by MIDI label Maddest Chickendom alongside Blasterhead, before featuring in a number of J-Core related releases throughout the 2000s. Some prominent examples include his tracks in mixed Raveros albums and his early appearances in the popular J-Core Bastard Pop Terrorists compilation series, alongside a number of prominent names: M Project, Raveros, Sharpnor, DJ Shimamura, and DJ Technotch, among others. However, Buzzmaster is notable for his equally impressive contributions to hardcore scenes outside of Japan, partly thanks to his involvement as 1/3 of the Full Circle DJs unit. Thanks to the initiative of fellow member DJ Yosuke, who served as the group's primary contact for many collectives like the UK-based Electronica Exposed and the wider freeform scene, the Full Circle DJs had 2 of their releases, Psychedelic New Rose and Big Kisses and Darkness, licensed and available to a potential European audience. DJ Yosuke soon followed this precedent with Hardcore Baby's Revenge, a mixed compilation album that featured the works of prominent freeform and breakbeat hardcore producers from all over the world. This places a spotlight on J-Core's global connections during its early years, as there was a clear indication that artists and potential audiences outside of Japan were starting to learn about the developments that had taken shape in Japan's music underground with the improvements to communication and information distribution facilitated by the internet. Buzzmaster and his crew wouldn't be the last attempt for J-Core collectives to try forming international connections, but they should be remembered for their achievement in being one of the first. In August of 2007, Hardcore Tunnel C would release a new compilation at Comiket 72, featuring a variety of regulars who would see their stars continue to rise in the following years. Hardcore Syndrome is notable for being one of the first major J-Core releases to feature tracks produced by artists outside Japan.
Yes and no.
As UK-based artist Jakazid was responsible for the opening track, Cascading Emotions, under his Joshka alias.
Oh, this track is so good. This is also a J-Core album that I've played so much in the past. So, they could never really use Jakazid back then because Jakazid was a trademark name under the Nucleus Records. So, so to be able to use the name Jakazid, people needed to pay Nucleus Records for that. So that's why he participated in either Joska and Mneko. As so he can bypass the whole the whole bureaucracy.
He had first heard of J-Core and DJ Sharpnel through his exposure to rhythm games like Konami's Dance Dance Revolution, but became interested in the style of UK hardcore and machina cultivated by labels such as MPT and their Bastard Pop Terrorist series, as these records were starting to be exported to the UK. This again suggests how J-Core had a degree of online recognition outside of Japan before the popularity of YouTube, as many European fans and producers like Jakazid first learned of the wider music scene through rhythm games, much like fellow fans in Japan. Fellow UK-based producer Tanuki recounts that he would mostly browse the Groovy website for new releases, eventually moving to more accessible social media platforms like Twitter to better stay informed and connected in the wake of their greater international adoption. This is how Jakazid was able to contact fellow J-Core artists like M Project, DJ Shimamura, and Buzzmaster. These connections provided him with music resources and trade skills like utagoe ripping for clean vocals and J-Core remixes, landing him a feature in Bastard Pop Terrorists Volume 5 right before the release of Hardcore Syndrome. His contributions towards these albums, and towards mid-2000s J-Core as a whole, highlights a diverse understanding of J-Core's compositional structure that fits right at home with the public's contemporary impressions of the genre. One explanation for why J-Core was able to find an audience outside of Japan is due to the increasing accessibility of online piracy that developed alongside other
Okay, this is 100% a true story.
aspects of the internet. Some dedicated fans and producers have argued that piracy sources like Napster and SoulSeek allowed people to discover inaccessible music and connect with independent artists without the resources for physical releases.
So kids, that's how we got our music back then.
But others argue that illegal downloads run contrary to the culture of underground music and financially supporting the environments that made music initiatives like J-Core possible by buying artists' music. Both perspectives are supported by services like YouTube and Spotify, which have proven equally influential and problematic for smaller music artists in the wake of unauthorized re-uploads and false copyright claims since their inception. A number of Dojin artists like DJ Technotch and RoughSketch hold relatively mixed opinions on illegal downloads, mainly due to the variety of positive and negative impacts that many fellow artists have experienced alongside the increased attention towards their music. Additionally, some figures lament a shift towards digital media removing the individuality that made early J-Core so special, as there's a unique connection between underground music and physical reality of collector culture. While I personally can't condone piracy, it plays a critical role in understanding J-Core's international proliferation, for better.
So yeah, a way to support the artists is just buying those CDs.
Or for worse. I previously mentioned that a number of J-Core artists would often use their influence and connections to the scene to promote other events with a tighter focus on a particular theme or subgenre of hardcore. Music events centered around the Toho Project series became a staple of the Dojin space from the mid-2000s onwards, with parties like Technetium's Toho Carnival and DJ Technotch's Mega Pier establishing the game's music as an integral part of the broader J-Core and Dojin landscapes. That being said, the otaku audience cultivated by circles like Hardcore Tanoshi generally stuck to their comfort zone with regards to J-Core events, as harder styles of music tended to attract a dedicated audience that appeared intimidating to the average J-Core partygoer. I asked Plasma Dancer, owner of the Japanese-based freeform hardcore label Thank You for the Horse, as to whether there was any notable overlap between J-Core and freeform hardcore events during his early DJ career. It was very rare to see a Tanoshi fan at events like Energetic Romancer, but they did start to trickle in over the years. One of the biggest reasons they would give for not coming along earlier was the intimidating atmosphere of things like Romancer or Tokyo Hardcore Construction.
So this is 100% a true thing. I had a contact at Tokyo Hardcore Construction. So it was not only intimidating, but also the people that actually go to Tokyo Hardcore Construction are the people that dislike the weeb, or at least dislike the nerd culture behind J-Core. So it was definitely intimidating because the nerds were not really welcome. Yeah, and that's one bad thing about the Japanese culture is that you're either at one group or you're with another group. And yeah, even me in the past, I tried to ask why cannot work together because it's a small scene. Yeah, and they just don't want to do that.
As the freeform scene here had roots in club subcultures that J-Core definitely didn't. Elements of goth, punk, or industrial, and the dark raver aesthetic that people from the otaku cultures of Tanoshi didn't have much experience of. It wouldn't take long for them to realize how welcoming the freeform scene was, but that was a huge barrier in general, that both scenes were working from very different starting points. Yep. The foundation of events like Codex attempted to bridge this gap in the 2010s, featuring early Tanoshi headliners like Alabaster and Technotch, alongside newly emerging freeform talent such as Les Dos On. Plasma Dancer notes that there were definitely ravers at Codex who were Tanoshi fans during the event's lifespan, but also remarked that fellow Romancer attendees felt a clear shift away from the darker roots that had established the Japanese freeform scene. On the other hand, there were a number of guest appearances at Codex that may have bolstered the appeal of freeform hardcore for J-Core fans leading up to the present day. The Finergy pioneer Alex Zahala was credited with attracting a number of disenfranchised Romancer faces during his feature at Codex 5, while Ikaruga Nex is noted as an important connection linking the J-Core and freeform scenes together with his attendance at multiple related events. Though J-Core was relatively separate from the developments of other underground music scenes for the majority of its early history, there is a clear influence from the musical trends of genres like freeform hardcore that allowed it to grow to the degree it reaches today. It's also important to talk about the contributions of Japanese freeform artists who shaped part of J-Core's rich soundscape, as it's an element left relatively undiscussed until fairly recently in the genre's history. In History of Japanese Hardcore Techno, author Yuta Umagatani states that hardcore Tanoshi pioneered a hardcore movement that was very different from the 90s hardcore scene centered on club culture, owed in part to their melodic hardcore style that featured unique takes on mainstream hardcore, freeform hardcore, and happy hardcore. Plasma Dancer suggests that Betwixt and Between had a massive influence on Tanoshi and the J-Core scene, as the unique connection that only he and raver Rose colleague Hase held to the Finnish freeform sound created a distinctly dark tone of hardcore music that virtually no other J-Core producers were able to reproduce. You can notice samples of this Finergy influence throughout many Tanoshi releases following Hardcore Syndrome, as a few contributors adapted some of the techniques featured in Finnish freeform into their own J-Core tracks. One track that personally comes to mind is Crossbreeding by Red Alice from Hardcore Syndrome 2, distorting the sweep effect with heavy filtering to create a transient kind of harsh sound, in tandem with the track's chaotic lead melody. A few artists would pick and choose elements of freeform hardcore to incorporate into their work, like the dark atmosphere embraced by DJ Technorch, but only a select few of those Finnish connections like Betwixt and Between were able to innovate upon that sound with a new niche of Japanese freeform. What makes Betwixt and Between's work so distinct from his contemporaries was his willingness to try a variety of genres, rather than limiting himself to freeform hardcore or J-Core styled machina. His 2011 solo album Nanosecond Eternity showcases a mixture of heavy hardcore subgenres, like his attempt at UK hardcore with Unseen Entity, and a radical take on dark psytrance and hard energy with his long edit of Hydra.
myself, I do have this album.
Thanks to his friendship with fellow Japanese freeform artist Gold, Betwixt was able to refine his own style of music into something completely different from other contemporary J-Core and Finergy producers, by seamlessly incorporating elements from both sides into music that was far removed from anyone else at the time. His sound was clearly recognizable even among the diverse lineup of Tanoshi, as a different choice of genre like industrial hardcore still demonstrated a similar impact on his peers throughout his time as a regular headliner. Fellow contributors like Umbrella and Thanatos highlighted the effects of Finnish freeform towards J-Core to a smaller degree, as both utilised elements like hard energy leads and heavy distortion to push a darker sound rarely seen in J-Core compilations at the time. Additionally, Alabaster is credited as an important figure with regards to the impact of freeform hardcore on J-Core music. Though he was typically on the outskirts of the main Japanese freeform scene, his appearances at events like Project Karma showcased the demand for his distorted, often gritty take on freeform that garnered praise from ravers and Tanohshi fans alike. The heavy filtering and distortion that would become Alabaster's trademark was another key tool shared with other contemporary hardcore artists, as it would often be used in tandem with industrial kicks to form the basis for J-Core's heavier undertones in the late 2000s. His use of Finnish-style filtering made him an ideal middle ground for J-Core fans interested in freeform hardcore at the time, as the impact of his contributions is still clearly felt by hardcore Tanohshi today. Or at least, that's what I think, if his inclusion on the 20th anniversary celebration website stands as any indication. Either way, freeform hardcore played a crucial role in shaping the sounds of J-Core through its incorporation of more industrial hardcore elements, as it allowed producers to embrace a pool of inspirations that invigorated a darker side of J-Core music. Though freeform is much less popular within the Dojin climate nowadays in comparison to hardstyle and speedcore, its presence on the J-Core landscape of the 2000s cannot be overlooked when understanding how the genre later reached conventional appeal.
So this last one, it is more of a personal opinion, indeed, because it's this kind of music style. It is definitely a part of history and how it shaped J-Core. Only back then, you also had the artists that were looking into the Dutch hardcore scene, or at least the Western hardcore scene, the harder stuff that we know about. So it like RoughSketch. We're now talking around the same era, and RoughSketch didn't really had his influences on energy and on psytrance and on freeform. But RoughSketch had more like music as well as inspiration to Dutch hardcore, to the Italian hardcore. So yeah, so far it's definitely a really good video. I don't agree with some parts of it, but so far in general, it is pretty legit. So, and yeah, sorry about the Twitch thingy. That is because I am using a recasting service. And I also see some internet upload dippings. Hello, Barkon. Welcome to J-Core Light. Welcome. J-Core Light. J-Core Live. So yeah, what is also a fact is that we are still having a showcase of RoughSketch Lost Neverland, the CD version, which is now being sold on Bandcamp for the digital version, where you can get 10 tracks, or a diverse direct. You can get that for 14 euro or dollars. No, I don't know. Sorry, not about the price, but you get 4 extra tracks, which is 14, which we are going to listen today. So I would say let's go check the next 2 tracks. The first one is going to be The Predator, and then track number 5 is going to be Welcome Back to Reality.
Changing into a furious never forget.
A journey into sound. The memory remains. I remember a melody. Grains of energy.
Story you'll never forget.
Here we go.
So those were two tracks, The Predator and Welcome Back to Reality. And after this track, we are going to do one more track, and it's going to be Subway, the Chameleon Heads remix. Spuugvuur. Welcome to J-Core Live, your one and only J-Core talk show here on Twitch. Well, you definitely came in time because we are actually watching a brief history of early J-Core and historiographic legacy of Sharpno and Double Dutch. Well, we have been watching for 28 minutes by now, and so far it is pretty legit. Oh, sorry. The last track was, by the way, Sapporo Subway, the Chameleon Heads remix.
2010 was a landmark year for J-Core releases, as many new and existing circles continued to refine much of the framework that was established in the prior decade. The J-Core Masters compilations introduced a number of overseas talent to the J-Core scene, like the UK-based Tanuki and Argentinian producer Roundwave Crusher, among others. Many of the artists featured in these releases have since appeared in a variety of compilations across a range of genres, with Umegatani stating that these international contributions helped to revitalize the Japanese.
Okay, just as a little information, Yuta Umegatani is also the one from Murder Channel, my contact person. So he also came to me for my participation within the J-Core. Okay, good night, Banana. Thank you for joining here today. Bye. Have a good night's sleep. So, Banana, you can also check the VOD tomorrow.
Hardcore scene in the next decade. On the domestic and export sides, Japanese artists like DJ Shimomura and RoughSketch were increasingly releasing their work on overseas labels across Europe, while Dojin labels like SketchUp Recordings, now Hyperflux, and Japanese Stream Hardcore showcased upcoming talents such as DJ Genki and DJ Myosuke that continued to further diversify the sounds of J-Core on Japanese hardcore music. This coincided with the renaissance of rave music occurring at the same time, as the Italian label Gabba Eleganza brought attention to the fashion aspects of the hardcore techno and Gabba scenes that formed an intrinsic link between underground music and underground fashion. Freelance music article writer Yuki Noise states that high-end fashion brands like Balenciaga and Miu Miu releasing collections inspired by rave culture brought fresh eyes to the hardcore techno scene, as it reinvented the genre as a community that appealed to everyone while broadening the inspirations that J-Core could take notes from. 2010's J-Core was spreading at a significantly faster rate than in the prior decade, with much of its spread being attributed to the Japanese hardcore scene receiving more attention and coverage from overseas producers and reporters. It should also be noted that the increased accessibility of rhythm games during the 2010s played a dedicated role in J-Core's sustained coverage overseas. Konami had improved the e-amusement service for their Bemani franchise of rhythm games, allowing them to update and patch games online without the need for yearly security dongles and upgrade kits. This had the side effect of requiring games to remain connected to Konami's servers for operation, as games would refuse to boot if not connected. In 2011, fans outside of Japan would create Programmed World, a fan project aimed at unlocking this online functionality to arcade cabinets running legitimate data, as a way of continuing to fully experience games like Beatmania 2DX without having to physically live in Japan. To explain what Programmed World did in very simple terms, a combination of a private key and a router flashed with a VPN provided you access to a server that enabled features locked behind e-amusement services. I must again stress that I don't condone piracy in any way, but it's undeniable that the accessibility provided by services like Programmed World, combined with the popularity of the rhythm game Osu, created another gateway for new fans of J-Core that was entirely different from the genre's existing preconceptions in the 2000s. Many producers inspired by Beatmania artists, DJ Technoch in particular, now found themselves encouraging a new generation of doujin artists with their work. A number of the artists I've mentioned throughout this video have produced music for 2DX, DDR, and Sound Vortex. It can be argued that modern rhythm games have created an Ouroboros of interest for J-Core and doujin music, as many contemporary producers and fans work with the nondescript goal of having their work eventually feature in a rhythm game someday. The new decade was also significant for hardcore Tanoshi, as the circle quickly cemented itself as a major figure in the wider J-Core scene in the period following Hardcore Syndrome. The circle would continue to host events following their rename, with the Tanoshi Strike series of events proving to be successful initiatives for cultivating a large audience. These events served as release parties for new albums, doubling as extra publicity for the artists who contributed to them. Being hosted at venues of decent size like Shibuya Buenos and Amaterasu indicates some degree of contemporary popularity, considering the former venue could hold a maximum capacity of about 300 people. 2011 was a particularly important year for hardcore Tanoshi, hosting a number of albums that could be considered influential to the circle's future creative direction. I already discussed Nanosecond Eternity by Betwixt and Between, which put the spotlight on an incredibly talented artist known for pushing the boundaries of hardcore music by means hardly covered by anyone before. On the other hand, you had Bright Colors, which aimed to showcase a mostly brighter spin on Japanese hardcore, as the doujin scene experimented with more industrial music subgenres. Bright Colors was notable for being the debut Tanoshi album of Aran, an upcoming producer who quickly became an established member of the circle alongside other major independent labels like Unitone and Autographic Music. However, this would also mark Betwixt and Between's last original contribution to hardcore Tanoshi before his passing. There's an argument to be made that this led to the group adopting more of a UK hardcore sound in the following years, as the freeform elements introduced by Betwixt and other early contributors were slowly phased out in favour of the mainstream rave vibes associated with 2010's hardcore techno. Jakuzit defines J-Core as hardcore techno with a uniquely Japanese taste. In essence, Japanese artists' interpretations of hardcore and its various subgenres, rather than simply hardcore music produced by Japanese artists. Whether you agree with this definition or not, the doujin music scene has exploded in the years that followed compilations like the inaugural Hardcore Syndrome and J-Core Masters, focusing more on specific subgenres or thematic sounds rather than a broad spectrum of hardcore music categorized as J-Core. Some labels like Megarex pioneer a niche in the demographic with a unique perspective on rhythm game music that births new genres, while other labels that evoke the club sound spirit reminiscent of late 2000s J-Core collectives like Lilium Records pursue a tighter thematic focus with how they categorize their releases and individual music styles. That being said, the spirit of early J-Core is still alive.
Shit. Look at this! Look at this! Hey! Okay, so NDXJCL is also on the video. Nice! Cool.
Life and well to this day, with the self-descriptive mashcore genre invoking the long-buried practice of subculture sampling like tradition never truly left us. Artists like Katagiri and Sabisi modernized the foundations established by nerdcore old heads for a post-COVID audience, thanks to true DJ Mag Top Ranker's song Zenpen reaching the public consciousness through Osu right at the height of COVID. Meanwhile, Rave Station Records continues to fill the demand for J-Core the old-fashioned way, with Rave Station Underground and NTSC J-Core hosting a number of old and new faces to the genre side by side. Though J-Core started out as a catch-all term to define Japanese hardcore techno releases, the modern scene's diversification and specific classification of music releases has led to the genre becoming a distinct category in its own right. Richard Andrews, the owner of Electronica Exposed, expressed a demand for freeform music, irrespective of the country of origin, from music lovers across the world. I wager that contemporary J-Core artists shared a similar sentiment, and continue to do so now, irrespective of how their music is categorized. To summarize, J-Core as a genre was established on the principle of making hardcore techno music more approachable to video game and anime otaku.
No, that I do not agree with this term. Definitely do not agree.
Fans of the subculture who shared an interest in hardcore music collaborated with one another and shared inspirations through their network of connections, which diversified the sound of J-Core through broadening the pool of musical talent. Like-minded producers and DJs would host events focused on certain aspects of J-Core or Dojin culture, which served to advertise upcoming releases/talent and attract new faces who could offer innovative ideas of their own to the wider music scene. A few artists familiar with certain genres of hardcore like Machina and Freeform offered their own contributions to J-Core in a number of ways, which showcases the genre's diverse sound and possibly contributed to perceptions as a hardcore music made in Japan throughout the 2000s. However, these contributions highlighted a clear international appeal to Japanese hardcore techno, with overseas producers and fans paving the way for a second wave of popular attention that continues today. While J-Core started out as a means for otaku to develop an interest in hardcore techno, it quickly established itself as a pioneer of internet music genres, and now serves as a gateway for rave culture that's accessible to just about anyone in the world.
This is true. This totally last one. That was since 2004 when I coined the term. This is the only correct word in the last 2 minutes.
In my summary of how J-Core was initially conceived, I briefly referred to DJ Sharpnel and the nerdcore-oriented events that would inspire similar artists to establish the genre's musical foundations. Many refer to DJ Sharpnel as playing a significant role in
Oh, wait a minute. Was this not a Dokumi, by the way?
In my summary of how J-Core
This looks like Dokumi.
was initially conceived, I briefly referred to DJ Sharpnel and the nerdcore-oriented events that would inspire similar art.
So this video, okay. So Spitfire, this video is made by Spitfire Spuugvuur. So I recognized this in an instant. This was 2017, I think. No, 2015 at Dokumi. That was the year before we went to Japan. Shit.
Artists to establish the genre's musical foundations. Many refer to DJ Sharpnel as playing a significant role in analysing the developments and subsequent growth of J-Core before the 2000s, but the origins of such a figure must also be explained to form a greater understanding of J-Core in its early years. In 1996, a collective of young music producers founded the group Project Gabangelion, a creative portmanteau of Evangelion, referring to the show Neon Genesis Evangelion, and GABA. The group would become high-speed music team Sharpnel and establish the Sharpnel sound label a couple of years later, which coincided with their debut release, Sharpnel vs Project Gabangelion. It should be noted that the Sharpnel name initially referred to a group of 5, with the most prominent members, Jaya and Lemmy, eventually forming the DJ Sharpnel unit in 2001. With that in mind, people unfamiliar with this period of J-Core will refer to Jaya and Sharpnel interchangeably, due to being the main producer during this early period. For the purposes of this piece, any mentions of the name Sharpnel will be used in specific reference to the group itself, unless stated otherwise. Sharpnel vs Project Gabangelion follows many of the same conventions that codify nerdcore techno, with a focus on high BPM anime sampling throughout, and the group's mod tracker origins at front and center in the album art. This release is notable for establishing a continuity in early Sharpnel works that will become relevant later on, as tracks 9 and 10 are carried over wholesale from Project Gabangelion's promotional release, Hardcore Mania Club. However, this kind of hardcore was obscure in Japan, garnering poor reception from conventional GABA and hardcore techno fans who thought of the overall motif as too hot off the press. Rather than leaning towards old culture becoming the new vogue like nerdcore techno, the high-speed music team took inspiration from contemporary media they were fans of, like the aforementioned Evangelion. A prominent example of this current day inspiration can be heard in the intro track of Versus Project Gabangelion, sampling the present day, present time sample from Serial Experiments Lane, a show barely 1/4 of the way through its original run period during the album's first print.
Present day.
Present time.
Present time.
This didn't deter the Sharpnel crew from having fun, using their music to evoke the spirit of watching anime late at night. The group's concept was to dance from music that comes from a CD, which was a novel concept in the newly
So, by the way, the videos that you see on the background, this is like the actual footage. So back then, this footage was like a real media player, I think, or a real player, something like that. It was like a 15 megabytes video.
established Japanese hardcore underground scene. Jaya notes a degree of interest in what was seen as a funny take on hardcore techno, integrating several parts of otaku culture into Sharpnel music with the aim of broadening the appeal of nerdcore to more typical otaku fans. In spite of this frosty introduction, this new generation of Japanese hardcore led by members of the nerdcore event Speed King widened the scene's horizons like never before, attracting a wide demographic of styles and listeners in a similar vein to the impact rhythm games would harness during this same period. I explained this growth in more detail during the previous section, but one aspect I want to bring attention to is how Jaya, and possibly the other members of high-speed music team Sharpnel, viewed their perceived influence on what later became known as J-Core. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Italy developed an interest in anime and manga similar to Japan's engagement with the otaku subculture, adopting such aesthetics and related cultural practices into the public consciousness despite the internet's relative infancy. European hardcore units like the Italian-based Trance Generators featured anime-styled artwork on their vinyl releases, which left an impression on Jaya and other contemporary J-core artists due to how far the aesthetic had spread. It can be argued that the use of cutting-edge otaku media by Sharpnel created a unique appeal for Japanese hardcore techno overseas, as European underground producers took more interest in this novel presentation style that was not existent in their corner of the world. However, it should be noted that this was not the sole reason for J-Core's popularity in the 2000s, as the existence of aforementioned music events like Gamers Night and Speed King showcased how Japanese producers interpreted underground music trends differently from fellow artists in Europe and the United States. While Jaya and fellow nerdcore/J-core artist C-Type frequently cite the Speed Freak as their musical inspiration for incorporating anime samples into Gabba and hardcore, C-Type states that Jaya is the driving force for why Japanese hardcore continues on in the modern day. In interviews throughout the 2010s, Jaya has consistently viewed his music through the lens of hardcore techno, but is aware that people often referred to his style as J-Core. The term originates from DJ Neodash, a Dutch DJ who coined the description when introducing Japanese hardcore to European audiences in the early
Look! Hey! I'm on the video. Hey!
2000s. Jaya comments on how J-Core is categorically impossible to define from several angles. Many examples of J-Core actually fall under a variety of genres, like Machina and Gabba, among others. Like DJ Shimomura, he states that not every track defined as J-Core by overseas fans can be counted as such, adding that Japanese samples or characters alone don't strictly characterize a work as J-Core. On the other hand, Jaya acknowledges the timing of such a term coinciding with the rise of doujin music, and the need to define hardcore released at Comiket and other similar events. This discussion supports the idea that Sharpnel was a pioneer of early J-Core, as Jaya's influence on how the genre is defined highlights the number of collaborators and connections that Sharpnel was able to galvanize during their activity.
So, by any chance, because I coined the term J-Core, it also made Sharpnel even more popular? Do I understand this correctly?
To quote C-Type's perspective on Jaya's significance for J-Core, the J in J-Core stands for Jaya. Following the release of Sharpnel vs Project Gabangelion at the end of July 1998, high-speed music team Sharpnel quickly set off to work on their next release. Titled Double Dutch, Jaya describes the production process as something of an online collaboration with fellow member Le Cobrata, as the two exchanged mod files online during the planning stages. Double Dutch was set to first release at the second Music Media Mix Market event in October, which gives it some degree of historical significance considering how important M3 is for doujin music releases today. Unbeknownst to many at the time, this would be the only time the album ever saw distribution, as Double Dutch was quickly discontinued by the Sharpnel team on the return home from M3 that night. Jaya outlines why the group made this decision in the 2015 retrospective booklet Sharpnel Sound Chronicle. Many of the tracks did not fit the vibe of nerdcore-like joke material established by their previous releases, with a much darker sound in comparison to Versus Project Gabangelion. The group unanimously thought, this album isn't quite right, isn't it? Shelving it out of a sentiment that it strayed too far from their core goal of making hardcore techno and gabba music fun for an otaku audience. Nonetheless, Double Dutch ran adjacent to the high-speed music team's increase in scope, as Lemmy's extensive experience with cosplay dance parties and live shows presented many further opportunities for the group that marked the start of their new identity as a nerdcore-like rave circle in subsequent months.
So, Spitfire, is this the most expensive Sharpnel CD, by the way, or is another CD even more expensive from Sharpnel?
It makes sense in retrospect why high-speed music
Oh wait, the 2.5, right?
team Sharpnel wasn't satisfied with Double Dutch when listening to it now. Even with low quality rips and YouTube archives masking a number of details, much of the album feels incomplete in one way or another. A number of tracks are mixed in a way that makes the samples sound compressed and drowned out. High Tension and High Speed Star are prominent examples in this regard, as the vocal samples used in these two songs are relatively quiet as a result of being washed together with the gabba kicks used in production. Jaya addresses this in Sharpnel Sound Chronicle, as the recordings in Double Dutch contained an anti-phase effect that removed the vocal elements in some tracks. Production information for certain tracks also suggests there were other issues that contributed to the album's generally unfinished feeling, like Jaya's recent move to Tokyo and worries over sound quality standards when playing the group's music at live shows. With this in mind, one can imagine why this was a notable departure from the conventional Sharpnel sound for a variety of reasons. The group would continue upwards from this point, using the lessons and music from this period as a learning exercise that saw further refinement over the next decade of activity. Double Dutch would quickly become the outlier of Sharpnel releases, though not for the reasons that its members would have predicted. Sometime after being pulled from circulation, Jaya suffered from a hard drive failure that resulted in the loss of the masters for Double Dutch, as well as the masters for the Intercore album From the Heart. According to him, about 40 copies of the former were ever produced and or sold, with the latter album having anywhere between 5 and 10 copies at rough estimate. This has caused both albums to become something of an urban legend in fan communities, as any information on them is scarce at best. Double Dutch is listed on the old Sharpnel releases webpage, as well as the booklets for Attack the Sharpnel and Yonder Dome, but little further information on the album existed prior to 2015, outside of a corresponding video game music database entry from 2008. In most cases, this would be a minor footnote towards the history of an influential J-Core artist, but the circumstances surrounding Double Dutch and its impact on Sharpnell's musical direction provides additional historical significance towards understanding J.'s contributions to the genre during the 2000s. I previously mentioned that early Sharpnell releases often formed a self-referential continuity, with some older tracks being refined in later albums. Double Dutch was no exception to this rule, as many tracks saw updates through the remainder of High Speed Music Team releases prior to the group's disbanding in 2001. Their subsequent work, From the Heart, Jigokuhen, featured a number of remixes from the previous couple of albums. The live version of Heart Attack was re-edited as 2 Happy Mix, while High Tension was reworked into Idol, Aniki Posing at Dance Party version, with added vocal samples taken from live performances by Lemmy's dance party circle, Pio Pio Dan. Jay's willingness to revisit these tracks suggests that he didn't view Double Dutch in an entirely negative light, as they showcased a number of production ideas that would see future appearances. For instance, the track Destrudo Reaction is cited as the inception behind Jay's Killing Scum alias, being partly inspired by the sound style of Japanese underground hardcore label Hyper Rich. Regardless of whether Sharpnell admits it or not, the album
Spitfire. Regarding this person that made the video, I do agree that in the majority of lines, it is pretty legit. But this is also a person that isn't really that long into J-Core as what we were. And to be fair, there is quite some information out there, but not everything is told. So yeah, we definitely did know more about the CDs in 2011 than most people, but that is also because we grew up with it.
The album was a gateway to exploring other subgenres of hardcore that would contribute to J-Core's diverse sounds upon reaching Europe in the mid-2000s. One particular track that stands out for its later reappearances is High Speed Star, as it became Sharpnell's unofficial live anthem.
Dippity hippie, there is no excuse for spreading misinformation. Then again, is it really misinformation? Like, is it really that bad as a misinformation? For people that don't know J-Core, and for information that I know and like what Spitfire knows, the person didn't came to us, so that is information that he could not know. So he could the person could only follow up the research what this person did. So let's say for 90% it is correct. Still, the other 10% is not correct. But yeah, still for this video, it's still pretty legit in bigger guidelines.
Of sorts during this period of activity. Jay used elements from his remix of the Kara techno song Furo to create this new song from the ground up, consistently featuring this new extended version in subsequent High Speed Music Team albums. Accounts suggest that High Speed Star was positively received by fans and members alike due to its frequent appearances on and off stage, since Jay was open to it becoming a mainstay of the group's sound as they otherwise tried to centralize their own individual sounds. On the other hand, you can hear shades of what made Jay's style a genre codifier in various iterations. The predominant use of a popular vocal sample, in this case Starlight by the pop group Hikaru Genji, is turned into a fast-paced hardcore remix that contested the sounds of contemporary nerdcore techno. Techniques like Utagoe ripping were still relatively primitive in 1998, but tracks like High Speed Star proved that Jaya and Sharpnell were ahead of the pack with how they were able to repurpose samples in such a creative way. Jaya describes From the Heart, Jigokuhen, as the album that first showcases his happy-sounding nerdcore, and you can argue that Double Dutch contributed to this development with the ideas it planted. High Speed Star continued appearing in later High Speed Music Team Sharpnell albums, with the final iteration, Exciting Hyper High Speed Star, taking musical cues from the similarly niche Eurobeat genre. This can be seen as a landmark of sorts for how Jaya was changing his production methods, as this coincides with a gradual shift away from mod trackers that began with the release of 1999's Rave Spector. Many contemporary trackers had no capacity for effect plugins, which meant individual channels had to be exported from Impulse Tracker as WAV files so that effects could be applied and mixed using other editing software. It's likely that limitations caused by music production software and the advent of online networking caused Sharpnel, and possibly other well-known J-Core producers, to reconsider how new ideas in music were shared in the new millennium. You can see how much the internet shaped JS' early transition to DJ Sharpnel in the 2000s with P2P, doubling as a swan song for his mod tracker years and an acknowledgement for the new methods championed by later artists. Double Dutch laid the groundwork for how Jay and Sharpnel would change J-Core in later years, and part of that is owed to the relationship he formed with High Speed Star when finding his musical style. I've talked about Double Dutch at length, but what was the album actually like? Let's take a few minutes to sample what it had to offer, so that we can understand its historical significance towards DJ Sharpnel and the works that defined early J-Core.
Don't call it Gabber. Not Gabber! Goddamn foreigners. Well, it's YouTube, right? Okay, but then again, Spitfire, to be fair, not many people have the flak rips. Not even I have this. Good night, Frozen Pyramid. Thank you very much for joining in today's show. Hopefully see you next time again. Bye, 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 bye. The 128k called Gamber Cakes. No, don't call it Gabber Kicks, goddammit. No, Spitfire, I would never accept that Gabber is a music style. Never in my life. No matter how I dislike it, I am I am the protector of Gabber. I'm the Gabber Lord. No, it's not Gabber. It's hardcore. I do accept hardcore techno. Because technically spoken, it is hardcore techno. Okay, Gabber Till I Die, that is the correct one. Well, you can use the word hardcore gabber. You can. It's like maybe a hardcore skater, because they also have those kind of music within the subculture. So a hardcore gabber, yeah. Oh, you're forgetting what's at the end of Happy Gabber? Well, Happy Gabber is a candy raver, right? Classified as nerd. In musical terms, this would be just like regular hardcore what we have. Like something what Neophyte would have made or Dominant. Maybe Rob G, by the way. Sampling is not something you hear in regular hardcore from that era. Yes, actually, it does. There were definitely a lot of sampling back then within the hardcore scene. 100% for sure. Where's the bass? Oh wait, is this what this person just meant about with the facing? Couldn't hear the bass kicks. this track is definitely not classified as hardcore. No way. Couple of Sharma albums was more of a test because Sharma didn't really know what he wanted to do back then, which is only producing music. And he wanted to recreate the Dutch hardcore. We're gonna give this a little break for now because we still are having a showcase of RoughSketch Lost Neverland, the CD version. And we still have a couple of tracks to go. So let's go listen to the next 4 tracks. And yeah, let's listen to the next 4 tracks. The first one is going to be Digital Slum, the Miyuki Omura remix. Then Do You Like Hardcore, Kamikaze remix. Then Ill, the Koshan remix. And then Iron Maiden, the Cortex remix.
Digital Slum. Jumping.
turn to you, you're my number one.
When we're alone and the world is gone, I turn to you, you're my number one. Good days and bad days can't compare to the feeling I have when I got you near. Feeling I have when I got you near.
So those were 4 tracks. Digital Slum, Yuki Omura remix. Then Do You Like Hardcore, the Kamikaze remix. After that, we had Ill, the Koshan Something in Japanese remix. And then Iron Maiden, the Cortex remix. So this was the digital versions of RoughSketch Lost Neverland. You can get this release at Bandcamp for, let's see, 1800 yen. And for 1800 yen, you get 10 tracks. So, of course, we are listening to the CD version, and the CD version has 4 extra tracks, which you can buy at Diverse Direct. So, yeah, so far, this album is freaking amazing. It's you definitely hear a lot of different kinds of styles within the hardcore scene, but also softer music. Like there are techno influences, there are acid influences. Amazing. Yeah, I would say let's go check out the last part of the brief history of J-Core. Let's see now. How long do we still have? We still have around 16 minutes to go. True that not really many artists within the J-Core scene really like the harder and faster kind of music styles. There weren't a lot. Most of them, they are pretty much more on the safe spot. So, Neophyte much? Yeah, that is true. Soccer was always the harder of the two. Nerdcore and J-Core have developed in the same way if this album never saw the light of day. Well, in all honesty, I never heard of this CD up until way later. So, if Sharpno would exist back in 2004, even without this album, and I found out the style back then the term J-Core would still probably be in the world. So okay, you couldn't hear what I say. So, as I was saying before, would Nerdcore and J-Core have developed in the same way if this album never saw the light of day? So, Nerdcore existed before this track came out. And J-Core didn't even exist up until 2004. And even though if this album would not be released, but Sharpno did kept making on other kinds of music, and I would have found out about Sharpno, then the word of the term J-Core would still be out in the world. Burger. Well, the only reason that J-Core was out there was because at the right moment, I was pretty much fed up with the Dutch hardcore scene. And on that moment, around 2000, I became fan of anime. So, is it a coincidence? Maybe, but that is pretty much the only reason why I found out about Sharpnel is because of looking for other kind of music styles, which was not the proper Western hardcore. So I love anime, and what did Sharpnel do? Make anime hardcore remixes. That is really simple.
It's hard to discuss how J-Core became what we know it as today,
NDXJCL again.
of how much information is available on the subject. Even though J-Core is something of a cultural phenomenon in the wider context of otaku culture and music game consciousness, I was genuinely shocked at how poorly documented the earliest years seemed to be as a whole. One of the most significant reasons I had for starting work on the topic to this degree was trying to answer the question of how come nobody's tried to piece together what early J-Core was like, and realizing that a lot of the information on hand would have to be compiled from scratch. A lot of the information in this video has only been recently discussed within the last 3 or 4 years, which makes me wonder how much more of early J-Core history will go uncovered in the near future.
Okay, I do agree with this fact. The thing is with J-Core history, it is it's not done by one person, but it's more also a collective fact of multiple people. Like from what I do know about is that I only know about J-Core from my own perspective and what I meant for in the world. But like Spitfire is also one of the key members within the J-Core scene. The same with SBZ, Melon, because they were more involved within the nerdcore and in the American scene. And that is pretty much where it started a little bit, and we all together form J-Core for what it is. But the thing is, because even back then, J-Core is pretty scarce, and so it's really difficult to talk something like make a whole history of J-Core, because everybody perceives J-Core in another kind of way. How I perceive J-Core is probably different as Spitfires. Or maybe Spitfire also has the same thought of us, as me. Melon and SBZ, and they formed All Core, so they also have like a different perspective of the Japanese hardcore. But in general, if you combine our stories together, there is a certain history to it. But then we also have Jackzit, which was really heavily involved within the Japanese hardcore scene. He can tell a totally other story than what we do. The same for the Speed Freak, as he went to Japanese hardcore parties already in the 90s. So, yeah, and since Speedbeats is already heavily involved within the nerdcore scene, he could already cover up probably like 90% of the whole history of J-Core itself. Oh yeah, Spitfire, you also said. So, like I said, I checked out this this person already a little bit on Twitter, and also from which area this person came from, and it's probably from a Reddit game community. Um, and you know, we could make a history, but the thing is, we never really did that. Technically spoken, if this person has translated this book, wait, let's see, do I have it here? This person has translated this book, then he could get already a lot of information out there. But yeah, everything is Japanese, so this is a quite reliable source. Also, this one, the book from TechNorch, also talks about his perspective of J-Core and stuff. And yeah, it's also in his book. So there are reliable sources, but the thing is, this doesn't really exist anymore. At least not for sale. Maybe you still can get it as Suragaya, but this is like a book from early 2000s. And to get this this book, you need to know about Murder Channel, and Murder Channel is not really the most popular labels out there. You really need to be pretty deep into the J-Core scene to know about Murder Channel. And otherwise, there is also the book from I'll take this one. There's also the book from Lolly-style Gabbers. And there is also quite a lot of information in there. So yeah. But even though, you know, there is not really a lot of information out there, and I do need to agree that I agree with it for at least 90 to 95% of the video. I agree. And this person did a really good job. There are only some minor details what is either not true, left out, or twisted. But other than that, it's pretty legit.
I imagine the average music game player's understanding of J-Core ends at the fringe releases of Comiket or M3 events. It's not much of a stretch when you learn a new fan's primary exposure to the genre is specifically hardcore Tanoshi and rhythm games like Osu and Waka. These avenues have become increasingly accessible for people with an interest in new music, and rhythm game developers seem to be aware of this as more upcoming artists submit their work to a variety of different titles. There's a clear history that the average fan is slowly becoming more aware of, especially when we learn how popular artists like Camellia were inspired by Bimani and early 2000s J-Core. Either way, it still brings up the question of why early J-Core has fostered relatively obscure discussion until recently, and why information on how the genre has evolved is scarce even among Japanese fans. The internet was a valuable resource for staying informed on new events and updates at the time, so why is so much information so hard to find without asking artists and fans directly? Who knows? Reading about early J-Core history was an eye-opening experience for me, as someone who didn't know much about this period until fairly recently. I knew that DJ Sharpler was important in establishing many aspects of the early genre, but learning about other aspects with comparatively less coverage, like the impact of freeform hardcore, has been an enlightening journey into how much impact J-Core has towards independent underground music. I think back on albums like Double Dutch, or the work of artists like Betwixt and Between, and ask myself whether we would see this pocket of music without.
Well, Dippy the Hippie, 5 to 10% false, or not told information. Okay, it may sound a lot, but there is really not that much information out there in this length and really talk in depth. Like what? Ja, logisch. But the thing is, there is definitely enough information out there, but let's be honest, who has the time to find out all those information from all these sources? There are maybe like 40, 50, 60 different kind of sources. I don't have the time for that. So to be honest, I am really happy with a video like this. So 90% true and 10% false, you know, it's still better than nothing. But I am going to contact this person. Let's see if this person will reply back, reply back, and then maybe we could do something together. Because I definitely know some key people within the J-Core scene, and maybe I can even get some artists to help out. So let's see if this person reacts. Let's see if we can make this information even more complete. Because having a base like this, it's a good thing for J-Core history, at least for the Western audience. I agree with that. I hope you guys agree as well.
These influences pushing the boundaries of creative networking as they did at the genesis of the internet. A lot of new fans are starting to rediscover this era of J-Core like I am now, so I'm glad that more attention is rightfully being placed on the efforts behind what created a bustling music culture. There's a lot of cool music out there, and it's a shame that it's gone undocumented for so long. Seeing J-Core continue to evolve alongside the old internet makes me nostalgic for that experimental Wild West that's seldom explored nowadays. A lot of tracks from 20 years ago represent the uncertainty of what J-Core was intended to be, providing a metaphorical answer to an equally open-ended question. You'd get the upbeat happy hardcore style mixed in with heavy industrial sounds, and it didn't matter which of these was the correct form of J-Core at the end of the day. Artists were producing music based on their personal.
So, okay, I am going to show you here, because this is the whole text of the whole video, and there are 59 pages, and these are all the sources that they looked up at. So. Yeah, you know, it is. Oh, yeah, this book is, or okay, there's a source of the Japanese hardcore techno from Murder Channel. So, yeah, this person do have a lot of how you call it? No, not a passion. Resources. How was it? Not research, not research. Oh, Jesus, well, resources. So, you know, I'm still scrolling, and still scrolling, and also link to all the different kind of different sources. So we can shit on this person and say, yeah, this is not complete. But seeing that this person made on his own, like, as much as this person can, it is a good thing. You know, we can fill the extras 100% to make it more accurate, but those are quite a lot of quite a lot of sources that this person found out information. So yeah. Let's see.
Views of otaku media, which then influenced how people saw the subculture through a lens of interconnectivity. Maybe Sharpless was more of a pioneer than we give him credit for, forecasting the importance of the internet as a hub for sharing new ideas all over the globe. I hope that more people take.
So Dippy the Hippie, you just very accuracy a lot. Okay, so that is also the reason why I just said that I want to contact this person to fill in the gaps. So to make it even more accurate. So, you know, J-Core is not a thing that is made by one person. It's made by a whole community. and we are also part of this community. And yeah, this person just didn't really have the right people in place to give him the information. So us finding this out means we can fill in more stuff and make it even more complete and more accurate. So yeah.
Interest in how J-Core came to be, and foster a greater interest in preserving some of the history that brought it here. People talk about the trend of Otogecore and how rhythm games have standardized a genre of music unbound by traditional restrictions, but I look forward to seeing how much further J-Core can continue to innovate in the next 25 years to come.
Well, it's definitely not a brief history. Okay, then this is the end. That's all the sources that he found. It is, we can definitely work with it. It's a good base. As for entertaining value, I would say I would definitely give it a 7. I would definitely give a 10 for effort, because that's quite a lot of stuff that he put in there. Even when I talked about the start and the death of old school hardcore, even I didn't put in that much of an effort in there. So yeah, let's see what we can do with this person. But in general, I really do like this video. We still have some more tracks to go because we are still listening to RoughSketch Lost Neverland. And now we are going into the CD version for real. So I would say let's play 3 tracks first. First one is going to be Metagame Matador, the RoughSketch extended mix with Mad Child. Then a Japanese title, the RoughSketch extended mix with DJ Technorge. And then T-Rex versus Velociraptor. In the Far East Euphoria, the RoughSketch extended mix with Tarchine.
I
3 tracks. The first one is Metagame Matador, the RoughSketch extended mix with Madchild, and the Japanese title, the RoughSketch extended mix with Digitechno Origin T-Rex versus Velociraptor in Far East Euphoria, the RoughSketch extended mix with Tarchin. So yeah, this is then also pretty much the end of today's show. It's a bit longer than I expected to be, but it is definitely a fun show. You can get this amazing album at Bandcamp. On Bandcamp, you can get the digital version, which has only 18. Sorry, it has 8 tracks in there. It's 1,800 yen. And you can buy the album on Diverse Direct, where you can get the extra 4 tracks that you just heard. The first 3, and the last one is gonna be at the end. So yeah, how much it is, I have no idea. It's probably guessing somewhere between 2,200 and 2,500 yen, I guess. Yes, Hoogny Restore, thank you very much. So for you lazy people out there, here are the links. So yeah, so for tomorrow, there will be yet another J-Core light show, which I am showing here. So tomorrow we are sorting CDs yet again because we still have 5 shelves to go. So we are nearing the end of it. And as for next week, we will have another showcase. And this showcase is not an M3 release, but it's another release from one of our partners, which is Tenger, prefer not to say, from Phantoms Records. This is not a vinyl record, but is a CD from them. And yeah, we are showcasing their newest release on the show here at J-Core Live. So other than that, we also have these announcements. The 16th and 17th of May, we have Unmuted in the Willem 1, the Netherlands. So yes, a 2-day event. I made a decision like pretty much this afternoon, and I made this video also like 3 hours before the show. So yeah, 16th and 17th of May, Unmuted, part number 3. So yeah, sorry, Kim is pretty much in bed now, so I cannot really talk that loud, and my volume is like totally on the max. So sorry about that. Or I need to talk like this. Is like this better? So 16 and 17 is Unmuted. That is also the last week that things are still cheaper, because the week after is pretty much like the start of high season. The other announcement what I also made is on the 1st of March, I am celebrating my birthday. It's the start of no, it's not the start. One is my birthday, and second is on the day of my actual birthday, so the 1st of March. And the third one is also the start of the 20-year DJ-versary of me. So yeah, the 1st of March, I don't know if I am going to do it either on a real life location or here in the house. If I would do it in a real life location, it would cost me like 450 euros, and then I need to charge everyone. But if I do it here in the house, then select people are allowed to come to the party here. And we can probably house like 35 people in the house. So yeah, still need to think about what are you gonna do with that. Let's see, is there... oh yeah, there's still one more thing. So the 7th and 8th of March is Neodash party in Tampere, Finland. And of course, I am also on the lineup together with RoughSketch, which is, by the way, a coincidence that we're having a showcase of RoughSketch, but is also the perfect link to promote the party as well. So let's see, is there some other kind of stuff that I forgot to talk about? Oh, I think this was it. Yeah. This album, amazing. So, if you haven't done so yet, come follow, like, subscribe at the following socials here at Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I still need to make my Blue Sky. YouTube for the VODs, Spreadshirt for the merchandise, Discord for all the information and the amazing community what's behind it. And if you want to financially support me even more, and this is also the preferred way, since this will leave more profit than Twitch, there's a Patreon up and running at NDXJCL.com or J-Core.live. Yeah, let's do a quick shout out to all the to all the chatters in here. Those are Mint, Power to All, Hooking Research Resetter, Topsu, Der Klumpy, and Spitfire, and also to all you lurkers out there. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. It was definitely an amazing show with an even more amazing album, and this album is also made possibly by RoughSketch and Notebook Records themselves. So a big shout out to them for providing this amazing album for us to showcase here at J-Core Live. So for wherever you are in the world, have a great morning, great night, great evening, great afternoon, great night, great midday. But the most important thing is stay amazing, stay true, stay hardcore-y. But most of all, stay J-Core. We still have one more track to go, which is Giga Hell, the RoughSketch Extreme Tukai Hodai mix with MIDI. And then we are going to raid Militia Cell. Oh shit, power to all. Thank you very much for the 46-month subscription. Yeah! So everybody have a great evening, and thank you very much for stopping by here at J-Core Live.
J-Core.
Possession is hunting for basic human experience. They can